go to Vegas, you go to Phoenix, you go to Orlando, Florida, metro area, and you buy foreclosures or REOs from the banks, from hedge funds, and you just hold them. And by the way, you may not have to hold them for as long as normally I talk about a decade or maybe even more. Because we are starting out so low, it may be possible, again, I don't know the future, maybe it's going to be much less than that this time. Maybe you only have to hold it for 5 years. Maybe in 2014 we'll be in a totally different place. I don't know that, of course. But buying in a downturn, buying in a recession, in a depression, if you will, is actually not a bad thing for the buyer. Clearly, trying to sell in a period like this is horrendous for the seller. So this is a good time to be a buyer, not a very good time to be a seller. However, things are not as rosy as it seems. Why? Because many would-be buyers are greatly hampered and can't buy. First of all, a lot of us have been caught with our pants down, so to speak, and we are in trouble ourselves. Maybe some properties we didn't quite time it right and we bought at the very peak and they're draining us and we don't know what to do. Maybe we were laid off from our job and we don't have an income, or our spouse was laid off, and things are not so, not everybody is ready, flush with cash and great credit and wants to buy or could buy. So that's a problem right there. People who recognize the opportunities now and want to buy typically are the more experienced investors. People who had already bought property feel the confidence to go and buy. Well, what did the government do? Up until about 6 months ago, there used to be something called Fannie Mae conforming loans for investors. And it was up to a limit of 10. So if you owned less than 10 mortgages, including your own home, you were still Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac conforming, and you could get great loans. As a knee-jerk reaction, without any thought, 6 months ago or so, maybe 7 already, they lowered it down from 10 to 4. Exactly the opposite of what should have been done, of course. All of a sudden, the experienced investors who could have swooped in and bought all this excess inventory of housing and hastened the recovery were shut out by not being able to get loans. We made tons of noise about it. So I said, come on, at least bring it back up to 10 again, or in fact, make it 50, make it 100, make it no limit for a while. Why should there be a one-size-fits-all? The government did listen, and about a month and a half ago, they did ratchet up back to 10 with some harsher, but the banks have not really adapted yet and brought up programs for that. But pretty soon, people with up to 10 mortgages will be able to get decent loans and buy. Putting maybe, I think, between 4 and 10, they want you to put 25% down and show you have 6 months reserves. Okay, fine. But what about somebody who may have 15 homes or 20 homes? Or, those most experienced people, the strongest people are out of luck. They cannot get loans. So for those of you that own less than 4 mortgages yet, including your home, you are in the sweetest, luckiest position. You get the best loans. You put 20% down, no more 10 now. Great rates, the rates are very low, no problem at all. Those of you in this room that own more than 4 but less than 10, you're going to be fine. You're going to get very, very good loans. Those of you with more than 10, totally different story. You bought with your partner.
Right.
And you both have your name on the loan.
Right, right.
Even though you only have a half a loan,
right,
it won't count as half. It will count as 1. So there are loans available to a brand new entity, but they're not going to be 20% down loans. They're going to be 30% down loan at the minimum, and in some of the more volatile states now, 50% down loans. So that's the trade-off. Or if, let's say, you sit down with a lawyer who specializes in setting up syndications, and they know the Regulation D and the SEC laws and do it all right, and you have a private placement memorandum, and you bring accredited, investors to your group, and you form an entity such as, an LLC, then yeah, you will buy the properties in the name of, the LLC, and you will get loans, if you get loans, in the name of the LLC, but they're going to be 30% down or 50% down, depending on the state. For example, I talked about, if I were to do it, I would buy cash. So there are trade-offs. That's why people like buying properties in their name so much. Not because they want to be exposed, but they want to get the better loans. But I'm here speaking about real estate. So my real estate little narrow way of dealing with that is right now, when the rates are extremely low, still, let's pretend for a second that they're going to be the same for another year and a half. I'm just making it up because I don't know. But let's just say there's a window. During the window, not only are the rates extremely low, but also are the prices, in many markets. So I want to stock up on as many properties as I can with fixed rate, 30-year loans, 30 years fixed, and then wait. And that inflation wave that I absolutely think is coming is just going to make my situation look very good. Inflation has a very strong effect in favor of you holding homes with fixed rate mortgages. Obviously, I learned so much in every one of those days. I hope to see you. Thank you very, very much.